Welcome to Florida Friendly Landscaping. My name is Sherry Kemp Lennon, and this morning we'll be talking about gardening with herbs. Gardening with herbs. Here is a quote from Ren Marika. Vegetables, herbs, and spices. If you can combine those ingredients, that would be the best dish you'd ever cook. So why we love gardening with herbs? Well, can you imagine marinara sauce without garlic, or gingerbread minus the ginger? Or how about baked potatoes without the chives? Oh, think of the aroma when you walk into the kitchen and you smell the fresh herbs. You smell the lavender, the rosemary, the fennel, the mint. Anyone who enjoys food wouldn't want to live in a world without herbs. There's so many flavors, but then we stop and ask ourselves, because it can get confusing. Vegetables, herbs, spices. So what are the difference? Vegetables, herbs, and spices. So what are the difference? There's so many flavors. Okay, when we refer to seasonings, they are used together. But spices and herbs are commonly have two distinct purposes. One is they're made from different sections of the plant. And second, they are processed in different ways. One moment here. So the difference between an herb and a spice, well, let's compare. Part of the plant does not have a woody stem and grows close to the ground. In culinary edible, it's the green leafy part of the plant that is referred to as the herb. The spices, now they're native to warm tropical climates, usually from the roots, the flowers, the seeds, or bark. And they tend to be a little stronger, more potent in flavor. So we would want to use smaller amounts of the spices, and they are often dried. Okay, do herb and spices have benefits? Herbs and botanicals have been around as long as mankind. They've played an important role in its health and in nutrition. Research surrounding the effectiveness of the herbal remedies and health benefits indicate that what we eat has many health benefits. The compounds that are found in vegetables and herbs and spices are antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, antibacterial, antifungal, all which aid us in during a sick season, like coughing, nauseous, achy joints, and the list could go on. So we need to be mindful that food is our health. Okay, the benefits of herbs and spices as a flavorful alternative. So herbs and spices offer us different alternatives besides flavor. It gives us an alternative to salt, fat, sugar, without all the extra calories to our meals. So instead of sugar, you might decide to use an herb like cinnamon or allspice. If you want something savory, maybe black pepper, or cumin, or dill seed. When flavoring with spices instead of using breading or gravies and sauces. And when using meats instead of using frying or breading, we again could add those extra herbs and spices. Herbs and spices. So another way to experience the flavor of the garden is to plant a wider variety of spices, and is to select by signature flavors. So let's talk about the signature flavors, the flavored families of ethnic cuisine. to make our own blends are just a few suggestions. When looking at flavored families, we look at like the Mediterranean. There's oregano, bay leaves, rosemary. If we get into the Indian cuisine, there's bay leaves, ginger, nutmeg, paprika. Thai, we've got garlic and ginger. Mexican, we've got chili powder, cumin, oregano, garlic. All these we can grow in our garden. French, we've got thyme, garlic, again, rosemary. So let's get to know our herbs before we decide what we're going to plant in the garden. Basil. Basil is easy to root from cuttings. And also it pairs well with chives, oregano, parsley, chamomile. And basil is also known for its popularity. And it is referred to as the king of herbs. There's over 35 different types of basil currently growing. Okay, borage. Borage is a cool season annual in Florida. It has a cucumber-like odor and flavor. The leaves are pretty. They are a pretty blue star-like flower and is used in salads and beverages. Once established, they will self-sow their seeds for years and years. Onion chives, a perennial that can be enjoyed year-round here in Florida. It's both the leaves and the pink lavender flowers that are edible with mild onion flavor. They grow well with dill, parsley, tarragon, and marjoram. Coriandrum. It's a cool season annual. The leaves are known as cilantro, and the aromatic seeds are known as coriander. The flower gardens, they're great for the flower gardens or landscape. Dill. Dill pickles was named after the leaves and the seeds. They're erect, strong-smelling annual plant. They usually will reach the height of 4 feet. The yellow flowers develop into fruits that can be used fresh or dried. Dill does best in the milder weather. The fruiting tops can be used fresh or dried. The black swallowtail caterpillars, they feed on dill, fennel, parsley. So you may want to put a little extra in your gardens for them. And it grows well with thyme, lovage, chives, and lemon balm. Fennel, there are 2 kinds of fennels, and they both look alike in appearance, and they both have a licorice-like flavor. The common fennel is grown for its flavorful shoots, leaves, and seeds. The Florence fennel is also known as sweet fennel, has a bulbing fennel, and it is grown mainly for the thickening bulbous leaf base, which is eaten either raw or is cooked as a vegetable. They're similar in appearance, and they both have that licorice taste. In Florida, fennel grows best in the cool season as a cool season annual. Garlic. Garlic has always been used throughout history in medical and in our foods. It grows underneath as a compound bulb. It consists of white gloves enclosed by white or purplish membranous skin. The above ground leaves form about a 12-inch tall clump. In Florida, the soft neck varieties are preferred because they need less cold to form the bulbs. Garlic is propagated in late fall or early spring. Ginger. There are several types of ginger. In Florida, we have the zingiber. It's a perennial that produces well in South and North Florida. The thick white tuberous underground rhizomes are used in food, beverages, medicine, and personal care products. You can purchase fresh ginger at your local grocery store. And you can take the rhizomes and you can cut them into 2 or 3 inch pieces with several emerging buds or the eyes. And you can plant them about 2 inches deep in the moist soil in a shady area that gets some morning sun. Okay, moving on to lavender. Lavender is known for its fragrance, soothing. You find it in your soaps, your lotions, your oils, or sachets. You find it in your bouquets and dried bouquets. It can also be enjoyed in flavors added to pastries, sorbets, main dishes, jams, and many beverages. It grows best in Florida's cooler regions. Numerous cultivators can be found at the garden centers. Plant it in a well-drained soil in full sun with plenty of air circulation. Okay, lemon balm. The lemon-scented perennial. It belongs to the mint family. The plants will grow in clumps up to 2 feet high with bright green leaves. The plants are started from seeds or cuttings. Plant it in a fertile soil in early spring in a sunny location. And try to space the plants about 18 inches apart. It'll take about 2 years for the plant to form a well-sized clump. The leaves are tender stems and are used fresh, dried, or flavored in drinks, salads, or other dishes. Lemongrass. This is also a perennial clumping grass. It has a pleasant lemony aroma and is used in cooking, teas, and herbal medicines, in home products, and personal care products. It's also enjoyed in the garden for its aroma. Plant it in full sun and rich soil with regular irrigation because it does not like to get dried out. Propagation is by division. Marjoram. It is grown in the summer in Florida and a winter annual in Florida. Or it is grown as summer herb, but is with a winter annual in Florida. There are 3 kinds of marjoram. One is the sweet marjoram, which grows upright, the pot marjoram that runs along the ground, and then there's the wild marjoram. And it is, it's right here. And it's known for its medicinal remedy. It's an aesthetic. It pairs well with rosemary, thyme, chives, oregano, basil, lavender, and sage. And it also makes an excellent border and grows well with the herbs that I just mentioned. Okay, mints. Mints are easy to grow perennial in Florida. There's hundreds of variety and they provide a wide range of flavors. Spearmint, peppermint are the 2 of the most popular, along with apple, chocolate, and orange. Recently, I just found a pineapple mint. Mint can be used in our beverages, our foods, our personal care product, and also an insect repellent. In Florida, mints grow profusely in shade or sun, and they like plenty of moisture. Mint is an aggressive spreader and is best grown where it can be contained. Oregano. There are 2 main types of oregano. Mexican, which has an earthy, strong flavor with citrus notes. There's the European, which is much milder. And then there's the Cuban oregano, which is known as the mother of herbs, and it is used topically. It pairs well with rosemary, thyme, allspice, chives, sage, and basil. Regular harvesting of the leaf tips promotes a fuller and more compact habit. It grows well with the herbs that I just mentioned. Okay, rosemary. It's a perennial evergreen. It's known for its aroma. The small narrow green leaves are used fresh or dried. The small lavender flowers form in the second or the third year. It's very difficult to propagate from seeds, so it is best to start with the cuttings. But once established, rosemary is drought and salt tolerant and grows well in sunny and dry locations. Rosemary can be enjoyed as an attractive low maintenance shrub in a water-wise or coastal landscape. It grows well with fennel, basil, lemon, verbena, bay, chives, lavender, parsley, sage, oregano, savory, thyme, and tarragon. Sage, it's a perennial that grows about 2 inches with this grayish green leaves. It can be attractive as a low growing border plant. Its fragrant purple flowers generally do not appear until the second year and are very attractive to the bees and the butterflies. So when using sage in a culinary herb, trim the tips of the branches to prevent flowering, which will maintain an optimal flavor of the leaves. Leaves are used fresh or dried. In the landscape, sage is attractive, again, as a low-growing border, but plant it in a full sun and in well-drained soil. It grows well with lemon, thyme, lavage, tarragon, oregano, parsley, lemon balm, fennel, and lavender. Tarragon. French tarragon, there's 2 types. The French tarragon is a difficult herb to grow in Florida because it tends to die out due to the hot summer heats and the humidity. It can only be propagated by cuttings because of the infrequent flowers are sterile and do not produce seed. So tarragon seed offered for sale is often the Russian tarragon, which it has a similar taste. Mexican tarragon has an anise-like flavor and can be also served as a substitute for French tarragon. Mexican tarragon is native to the Southwest United States and Mexico, and it's very tolerant of Florida's hot heat and humid summers. Hey, thyme. It's a shrubbery perennial herb with tiny gray leaves. Some varieties are creeping, while others are upright and up to 18 inches. Lemon thyme is a variety that adds lemon flavor and aroma. Planted in the full sun and well-drained soil. Thyme is drought tolerant. Replant thyme every 3 to 4 years for best growth because it tends to get woody. Thyme leaves and flowers can be used fresh or dried. Now that I see we have some time, does anybody have some questions before we continue on? Question? Well, if it says cooler weather, it would be spring or late fall.
Spring or late fall. And the better for put stuff in the ground and it just doesn't, for some reason.
Where you'd want to protect it, yes, if in case it gets too cold or maybe the sun, the lighting.
It's hot or something,
Right. Right. Well, then I'd bring a sample. Yeah, I'd bring a sample of your soil up here to the extension office and have them test it and then go from there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's continue on. Herb and food combinations. So before we decide what we're going to put in our garden, let's see how we're going to utilize those herbs. So let's first talk about basil. Basil you'll commonly use in tomato products, juices, pastas, sauces, pizza sauce, soups. It plants well with beans and eggplant. Rosemary, you'll find with your pea recipes, beans, mushrooms, potatoes, and cauliflower. Cilantro, you'll find in your salsas, your Mexican, Asian dishes, onions and tomatoes. Oregano, again, the same as the basil, you're going to find with your tomato dishes, soups. It plants well with beans, tomatoes, eggplant, and mushrooms. Dill, again, you'll find with your tomato dishes, but also in breads, coleslaw, potato salad. Plant with beans, cauliflower, cucumber, or summer squash. Parsley, you'll see it with salads and vegetables and pastas. Thyme, onion, tomato, and mushrooms. Mint, you'll find with lamb, desserts, fruits, and salad. Yes.
Is there a copy of that early?
Absolutely. I just printed it out and it's over there on the table. At the end of the presentation, I'll let everybody know that they can take one of the flyers that I have on the table. And for those online, you can just copy off that slide.
So, will I send us this presentation?
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube. Yeah,
That's another.
right. Okay, let's move on. Okay, let's plant an herb garden. So part of discovering the many flavors of experiencing the many ways to plant an herb garden. So here I've listed 6 different ways to successfully plant this herb garden. First, you can use container garden, which the benefit of that is you can move those containers around if need be. Raised garden boxes. If you don't have a place for a raised garden box, you can always hook up with your community garden because they have lots of gardening boxes there that you can share with other gardeners. Companion plants with vegetables, as we mentioned, what they pair with. We can utilize our flower gardens. Some of our herbs have beautiful flowers on them, so we can make them part of our flower gardens. Herbs like dill do very well in butterfly gardens, along with the fennel. And we can also make these herbs as part of our landscape around our home. Okay, right plant, right place. This is important for the success of the type of herb garden that you will grow. So let's look at location and soil preparation. Herbs in the Acacia plant, like the dill, parsley, and fennel, they're good additions to the butterfly gardens. Containers offer numerous advantages, which I just touched on. The soil can be customized and the pots can be adjusted to the seasonal shifts. Perennial herbs such as rosemary should be grouped where they will not be disturbed when the rest of the garden is being prepared for replanting. Annual herbs and spices that reseed themselves, they should be placed in a dedicated area. Grouping herbs and spices with the same water and fertilization needs. On like rosemary and thyme and sage, they need to be on the drier side, whereas parsley, chervil, and mint, they grow best in a more considerable moisture environment. So in general, most herbs and spices, they'll grow satisfactory under the same conditions as long as they're grouped with the same vegetables that would have the same needs. Okay, propagation. Another consideration when establishing our herb garden is the life cycle of the annual or the perennial and the mature size of the herb. The culinary demand, as we went through earlier, you know, in those recipes, how much are you going to use? Are you going to use more basil than you're going to use garlic, or vice versa? So you would want to plant your herb garden according to the demand. Where are you going to purchase it? Are you going to purchase it from the garden center or mail order? Or are you going to propagate it from cuttings layering, or division. So let's talk about seed. Well, seed has advantages. It helps us to grow varieties that are not available. And listed on the packet is instructions, or you can always use the rule of thumb. In containers, use commercial seed starting mix for optimal root growth, and it's free of also pests and weeds. Always remember that your containers should be clean and have good drainage. And once the seedlings emerge, then to the recommended spacing. Transplant when there are just several sets of leaves and a well-developed root system. Water frequently until the young transplants are well established, so you need to keep them moist. Cuttings. Propagation from cuttings, such as sage, balm, and rosemary, come from new growth up under the older parts of the roots are best. Cut the stems about 3 or 4 inch sections, each containing at least a set of leaves or leaf bulbs near the upper end. To prevent wilting, place the cuttings in water as soon as it is removed from the plant. Or you can also use a root hormone if you want to use root hormone and put it directly into the dirt. Containers should be clean again and well drained. Use a commercial soil, again the root hormone, and continue to water until the cuttings have developed and are ready to transplant into the garden. Layering and division. Layering trailing plants such as mint, thyme, marjoram can be propagated by simple layering, which consists of covering the lower portions of a side branch with soil, leaving the top exposed. When the covered part of the stem has rooted, it can be cut into a parent plant and established as an individual plant. Division. The mature option of chives, lemongrass, mints, marjoram, they can be multiplied simply by dividing the clumps into separate parts. Okay, harvesting from the table. Harvesting from the table, such as basil, tarragon, lemon balm, mints. You need to harvest them before they begin to flower. Because of the high moisture content in the plants, they must be dried rapidly away from the light if they are to retain their green color. If dried too slowly, they'll turn dark and moldy. They also need to be in a well-ventilated dark room, furnished in ideal conditions for curing, so that these herbs can cure in a short time. Okay, herbs such as rosemary, thyme, and sage, and are savory. They contain less moisture, so they can be partially dried in the sun without affecting their color, but excessive exposure should be avoided. Cilantro and dill. They can be allowed to flower and set the seeds for the kitchen or for replanting. The seeds should be harvested when they are mature. They should be thoroughly dried before storing to prevent loss of quality and viability. Leaves or seeds, either one, they should be dried, cleaned, separated from the stems. Clear glass or plastic airtight containers to prevent loss of the essential oils, to maintain the herb's delicate flavor. Dark place, they need to be placed in a dark place to prevent light from bleaching the leaves. And a tip here is fresh herbs can also be stored in the freezer. Add them to ice cube trays with a small amount of water. Okay, so now that we have our list of herbs and we know what flavors we like, we can start with our herb and spice blends right from the garden. So from garden to table, we have salt-free blends. We have family favorites, such as Italian. We have our seasoning and ethnic blends that we talked about earlier, the Mexican, Greek, and French, or just our own garden blends. If you're interested in some of these recipes, I have handouts there on the table that you can grab on your way out. So now let's plant a garden. Okay, now it's trivia time. Can anyone tell me what the largest herb is? It's known for its popularity. And it's found around the world. It has rhizomes that grow under the ground. And it's also referred to as a tree. We want to acknowledge Tyler Clem. He wrote a great article on this. So if you look at the references, you can read his article on the largest herb, and it is the banana. The banana tree is not a tree, it's an herb. It's our largest herb. Okay, so can anyone tell me about the king of herbs? Awesome, that was quickie. That's right. There's over 35 different species and it's found all around the world. Okay, which one is the most powerful herb? It's used in various compounds in the medical field. And it belongs to the, okay, who said that? Turmeric, that's right. Yeah. Yeah, and it's a part of the ginger family. It has powerful antioxidants that boost the body's own antioxidant enzymes. And I have that on our reference, so you can look that up. So, okay, does anybody remember the mother of herbs? Oregano. Do you remember which one it is? It's the topical one, the Cuban oregano. It's only found in the oils. Yeah. Okay, and then there's our references. And now I'll open for questions. Okay, see if I can see the chat there. Oh, we had somebody that answered the, oh, let's see it here. This isn't scrolling down. That's right, somebody answered, I can't see who it is. Banana is the largest herb. First time heard bananas being an herb. Can't wait to hear the answers. So I don't think I have any questions that I can see. No questions? Okay.
So being from Nassau and said how I have thought of this week, right? Rosemary and all that. Is there a reference also to directional plant? You know, some herbs are they like definite eastern exposure. I would think yes, like rosemary, southern exposure.
Yeah.
But is there a reference in your?
When you look into the references there and open them up, you'll see the different plants that we spoke about, like rosemary. Yes, it likes a southern exposure, but it does not like wet feet. You know, it wants to make a well-drained soil. So even though it might be getting the right exposure, is it getting too much water? Maybe it's not getting enough water. So those are things that we, you know, should address when we're putting our plants around. One thing I didn't mention earlier is the incorporating herbs in our landscape. Now, if you're part of an HOA, they might be like, oh, no, you can't plant fruit or vegetables in your front yard. But some of them, they're ornamental and have such beautiful flowers, and you can put it out there, and it's just a little benefit that you might have a little fruit coming off of it. But so you can, if you do it discreetly, or you don't want it to look like the farmer's yard. But the other thing to consider, if you're going to incorporate herbs into your landscaping, is the needs of the water. Usually herbs or anything edible is going to require more water than your traditional landscaping. So make sure that you pair those plants with the same kind of, let's say, evergreen shrub, that it'll take the same soil needs and water needs as the plant that you have it next to. Rosemary is a great substitute for an evergreen plant. In fact, there's a town here in Florida that's called a rosemary, and everywhere there's rosemary in place of evergreen. So basically, consider your grouping, the needs of the plant, and always check your soil and your water.
Now, will the leaves on the rosemary and sometime when dry out, give it
It could be nutrition or, I'm sorry, question? Yeah, the question. The leaves on the rosemary may turn yellow. Okay, it could be lack of water, maybe too much water. Too much or not enough can affect it. You might also check your pH, to see what's going on. And then again, maybe it's not getting enough sun because it is a sun lover. Any other questions? Okay, well, I want to.
They want the screen back up, and then it turns out it's seeds. So that happens with seed.
See. Oh, there it is. Okay, see, there you go.
Okay, here's another question. Would it be better to start? I was had a question. Yeah, I think you come from Mountain Clinton, but down here, that's all we're trying to do. And we're going to stuff all the time. So with the seeds, it's better to start them, like, rather than after the
Okay, the question is, if you're from up north and you come down here and you think, oh, I'm going to grow everything all over, and you'll have vegetables all the time, basically, or flowers. Is it better to start with seed? I think it really depends on the time of year.
But in the ground to start, like a lot of times they say you should maybe start and you grow plants and then take that plant and put it into the ground as seed. Because I've tried other things with herbs like vine plant, and I also had some seeds, so I was kind of put them together. The plants are one okay. The seeds.
Well, I've done both. The advantage of putting them in something prior to the ground is you have more control over it. And also you don't have the problem with weeds popping up around it. So, and also you can control what type of soil's in there. So, and then once that plant, as we mentioned, is up and the root system looks healthy, then you can transplant it accordingly, whatever the recommended spacing is. And again, keep it watered until that plant's root system gets strong.
A lot of herbs are a little bit tolerant of dryness. than being more moisture than some other plants like vegetables.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, usually the herbs like moisture. But the spices are the ones that like a little bit more heat. So you kind of like determine, is it a herb or a spice, because they do have kind of different environments. Okay, no more questions. We want to thank everybody for showing up today and joining us. We're sorry about the delay. I hope this was informative for you, and we want to thank all those that are on Zoom for being patient, and hope you'll join us next time. Thank you. People just buy that?
Oh, yeah. This is